Hi, my name is Andrea Lingle, and this is Writing Practice. I'm glad you were here. This is week 2 of our series on the motion of writing. This is part of a incarnational study through the Missional Wisdom Foundation, and you can find out more about that at missionalwisdom.com. Just look for under the Formation tab for the Incarnational Study Series. So, I'm very excited about this week because it's one of the more practical weeks, not just for writing practice, but just, for getting through the day. First of all, we're talking about the motion of writing, and I literally mean like the motion of putting your pen on a piece of paper and writing. Right now, my kids are all learning cursive, and when they asked why, well, first of all, it's a good skill and all that, but I told them because I want you to be able to have a way to move your pen across the paper in a beautiful way, because most of the communication that they'll do, I'm sure, will be digital. Most of the communication I do is digital. But I treasure the art of moving my pen across a paper. But, one might be sort of tempted to disregard that. Like, it's all the same. Communicating is communicating. Except that there's a connection to movement that comes with getting past your inner critic. So when we're doing writing practice, we're trying to connect to what writing is doing without letting the critic that lives in your brain tell you that you're doing it wrong, or that you shouldn't be writing, or no one would ever consider you a writer if they could read what you were writing. So we're trying to get past that. And sometimes we just have to allow the motion, the actual physical motion of writing to carry you. So, literally putting your pen on your paper, and that's why I say make loops, because you're allowing the motion of your hand to let that inner critic relax. It's like doing yoga for your brain. So the other morning, I had a great example of how this works. Lane, my oldest, was getting up and we were going through our school day. And he looked at me and goes, "Mom, I am so tired today." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "But every once in a while, I just look around at the board and I think, I know what's next. I don't have to think about it." And that, to me, was an example of letting a schedule carry you. We have a schedule for our day, and he didn't have enough energy to just muster up a school day, but he just had enough energy to show up and let the schedule carry him. And I immediately thought, that's like just allowing the motion of writing to get you past the moments when you think you're blocked or you think you don't have anything to say. Sit down and make a list. If you feel like you have nothing to write, sit down and make a list. This little series is part of something I'm doing with the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, or some order of those words. Can't remember right off the top of my head. But this is a beautiful little book by Charles Mackesy, and we're using quotes. And the quote for this week is, "Isn't it odd? Everyone can see my outsides, but everything is happening on the inside." And I love that little quote, because we often get really caught up with what's really externally important, and the inside stuff just kind of goes along without us. But if we can ever just get rid of the chatter, Get rid of the chatter that's just taking up so much space in your head, and let the motion carry you. Just imagine how much freedom we would have to let the inside stuff meet the outside stuff. Okay, so for writing practice today, we've got a listing exercise, because sometimes the easiest thing to do when you're stuck is to make a list, and to let the motion of just making a list, put a bullet point, write a word, bullet point, word, and just don't think too much, will really be helpful. The prompt is what I carried with me. Now, you can talk about, begin to talk about what you physically carried with you somewhere. Say you went to go grocery shopping. You carried your reusable shopping bags and your bag and your keys and your ID and your in these days hand sanitizer, all that. Or you could talk about I carried the knowledge that I have to be really careful, weariness about dealing with whatever, the internal stuff and the external stuff. Just follow what rises. So, briefly, set your 3 to 5 minute timer. Write as quickly as you can. Don't stop. If you get stuck, make loops with your pen and let the motion carry you. Before you get started, just spend a few seconds visualizing the first thing and then try and catch what rises as it comes. Those are the rules for writing practice. I hope you have a good one. I'm glad that we're writing together. Thanks. Bye.